Hey, how you doing? Well, today I'm going to attempt to replace my stock brake lines with Spiegler, I believe is how you pronounce it, or Spiegler, aftermarket braided lines, as well as rebuild the rear master cylinder on my 2012 Ninja 1000. I gotta tell you that the bike's great. I love it. It's so much fun. Daily commuter, weekend canyon carver, so I think it's worth the investment to keep it. And I've got 74,000 miles on it, all original, so I do ride it a bit. But I gotta tell you, the rear brake has always been, spongy, the best I can describe it. And I'm never really happy with it entirely. It's not terrible, but not happy. And then a couple weeks ago, I lost the brake pedal completely, meaning it just went to the bottom, no rear brake at all. So I brought it back, bled it, and had a big old air bubble in it, which is of some concern, so I don't know where that was coming from, and I figured, if I'm getting a leak somewhere, an air leak, I don't see any fluid anywhere, but and the fact that it's been spongy all along, I think now's the time. Let's go ahead and just let's go and rebuild it and upgrade it a little while we do it. To make your life really a lot easier, there is another tool that I do recommend, and that's one of these Bike Master vacuum brake line bleeders. It's like 40 bucks. I mean, I'll put a link down to it. Here you go. So I've got the ends. There are two ends. I got them in a bag here just to keep any leftover fluid from leaking all over the place. The two lines run up to a T at the top here. You can see. Oh, there you go. You can see, and then into the container itself. It hooks onto the compressor. All right. So the way this works, just hook her up to our compressor. Get our lines out of the back here. You can see they're. You can see that they're simply rubber fittings that go over the bleeder nipple. Handy little hangers to get one out of the way when you're not using it, and I'll be doing that. I'll show you that. Since there's two, I'll only be using one of these. If you're using only one, you need to plug up, cover over the hole in the one so all the suction comes through the other. I'll show you what that looks like. So we'll get this over. Excuse me. Get it over the bleeder. Crack her open. Okay, the master reservoir is empty. Just make sure we got this completely emptied here. The brake line. Looks like it is. Oh, there it goes. Okay, we are sucking air. And just to make sure nothing drips out, what I'll do is just keep this depressed while I take this off. And that's it. So if you're bleeding your brakes or just changing the fluid, you obviously just hit the handle and watch your level here and just keep topping it off until you get the clean fluid coming through. Torque it down, you're done. So there's our fluid. There's our fluid in the bottom there. Not much, but that's all there's in the line. So we are empty. All right, good deal. Let's move on. Okay, next we're going to need to take off the master cylinder here. There's the banjo bolt for the rear line. This is it behind the foot peg mount, so we'll have to take all that off too, I suspect. I think what I'm going to do is though, I'm going to break loose the banjo bolt first while it's still all nicely torqued in there. I think that'll be easier. I think. So that looks like we're going to need a 12 mil on that. Let's do that now. There we go. Alright. And what I'm going to do, a little trick I learned from another YouTuber, and I wish I can remember, if I remember his name, I'm going to give him some credit because I thought this was a pretty slick idea, is to take a little paper towel. Okay, there's our banjo bolt, there's the crush washer, which is, there we go. Take a little paper towel and jam it inside the fitting. Okay, I think I got way too much. There we go. See that? Jam inside the fitting there, so that and if anything leaks out, it gets absorbed and doesn't get all over everything. Alright, so there's our banjo bolt and a couple of crush washers. These all get replaced with the new brake lines, and anytime, of course, if you break loose your lines, you want to replace those crush washers for sure. Okay, let's move on. Looks like we've got this one here that's actually holding the master cylinder on. These two. So we're going to break those loose first. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, that's good. Okay, it looks like she's coming loose from the foot peg mount. So let's get that next. That looks like we've got looks like we got 4 or 5 hex nuts on that. They're all 6 millimeter from the looks of it. There we go. Yeah, okay, that's what we want. Oh, maybe it's just the 2. That'd be interesting. Good news is I picked the correct 2. Okay. Trying to keep all of my reusable bits. Okay, so as you can see, this is completely loose from the bike. And the master brake cylinder looks like it's just these 2. There we go. That's 2. If you can see, but in this mess down here, it's a cotter pin and a pin that holds the rod that the brake lever activates up into the master cylinder, so we're going to have to take that guy out. So I'm going to need to get me a needle nose and maybe a screwdriver to pry that baby loose, so let's get at that. Okay, so let's disconnect the brake line from the master cylinder. And that's just a clamp here at the back. And I can show you that clamp here. So you can see that clamp right here. Pop that off and we should be free there. So Just wiggle that back, and usually it'll pop the hose on, off. Right, this is from the master cylinder reservoir. That baby's on there good. There we go. Alright. And that's off. Now, I'm certain that a bit of fluid will leak out of this thing, so I'm going to stuff a little rag up in there just to make sure. Okay, so here's our master cylinder basically free. Just need to top this pin out at the bottom here. And voila. We are, oh, there goes all the brake fluid on the floor. Looks like there's three threads showing in here. And I think that's important to get it back in the right adjustment when I put her back together. So I'm going to have to make a note of that. Alright, so we'll next have to get this boot off. Take this off, get the boot off. And I guess there's that snap ring in there we got our special tool for, and we'll see what other surprises are in there for us. So let's get on that. Okay, let's see if we can get this thing apart. Get the 12 on there. Some leverage. There it goes. Alright, now we're in business. And there goes the nut. Gonna need that. Gonna need those. Spin this back. And now we can get access to the boot. All right. Good. You can see in here there's this C-clip. It's got these two little holes that we're going to have to use our special pliers on. So let's get on that. This little guy here squeeze together and pop right out. Good deal. Okay, bit of cleaning up. I think we're ready for reassembly. So this is the sequence they go in. So spring, piston, some clips. So let's try it. All right, let's start coating these things down. A little brake fluid. Start reassembling. Brake fluid should act as a lubricant, help it go in. That's good. There we go. Good. Okay, now it's clip time. I'm gonna have to get this plunged in enough to where I can get the clip on top. Seat that in there. So this is going to be a bit of a gymnastics act here. I can see that. Alright. Pliers. Tell you what, the $4 pliers from Harbor Freight are not recommended. I'd go ahead, I'm going to invest in a good pair. And good luck, that's not in. Ah, there it goes. I think. Yes. Nice. Try not to damage the boot in the process. Okay, looks like the boot's in there good. And now the adjuster nuts. And there we go. Alright, we'll get our wrenches on this again. All I'm doing is just wedging a larger wrench here and tighten down that adjuster like that. Now, if remember, we had 3 threads up here, 2 threads down here. So let's get that adjusted. That looks about right. Okay, I think. I'm going to need a new cotter pin to put this completely back together, but I think we can get it back on the bike. That goes in just like that. You can see that. So we'll get the bolts in there and get this torqued down. There we go. So that's just finger tight for now, and that's good. In fact, I'm going to bungee that up. And that's that. Okay. I need to get this little pin into the fitting here that attaches it to the brake lever and fit it with this small cotter pin, and that'll be that for the reinstallation of our master brake cylinder. So let me unstrap this. Well, I guess until I get my new brake lines, there's nothing to do. So I'll check back in with you when I get those, and we'll put them on. So I guess to give you a preview of what that's going to be like, let me show you on the bike what we're doing here. So we already saw this first brake line, like with the banjo bolt that hooked up to our master cylinder right there on the top, right? So that's going to be replaced on that end. And that goes, you can see down here, that's this line right here. That goes all the way down, obviously, to our our caliper. That attaches right down here. So we're going to replace in that line. Then up front, this is actually going to be a little bit of a modification. As you can see up front, we've got the single line right here for our brakes. This goes down the triple clamp, and if you look, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you here, but there's a splitter right here, right there, and it splits the line in two. One here, one on the left, one on the right to each caliper. One goes down this side. But what we're going to get is two cables, two brake lines come all the way up to the top. One goes to one side, one goes to the other side, and it's a double banjo bolt. So both brake lines are going to hook up here. So we'll see how that works out when we get them. So tune in. I'll see if I can get those on.